Hello, everyone. Corey here, coming in to do the energy update for December, along with Miss Phoebe. um, so I've recorded this once. I even had it posted, and there was no sound. And for anyone who knows my work, knows that I can never ever bring back the message. Once it is out, it is a one-time deal. It is never coming back again. I don't have it. So I've gone through a few days of being a little bit disheartened and disappointed with the fact that my computer reset the settings or zoomed or in my Zoom the settings went to an old system that I don't even have on here, and it was silent. So and it wasn't just this one. It was actually 3 hours of recordings that had 3 hours of recordings that had no sound. So welcome to retrograde. So there is a truth in how retrograde kind of affects us, and it makes us kind of sleepy at the wheel. It does. It makes us sleepy at the wheel. The things that I would have probably looked at before or double checked, I wasn't. It was just like, oh no, it'll just happen. So not as alert, not as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I guess. I don't know. But we are in retrograde, so we do have a lot of retrograde energy. And the other thing that was coming up in that message was the fact that even though we have, we're still in Sag, we will be moving into Capricorn coming up, but we're not there yet. We're only um we're only right here. We're in December the 5th. We are in Sag energy. We don't bump us ahead to Capricorn energy yet. And there's a reason why people are trying to get to the Capricorn energy, because of the narrative and the story that, well, Capricorn has come through the big 16-year cycle. And so that December should be, that part of December moving forward into Capricorn season should feel like it's going to be like such a good time. But when things are ending, we have a lot of cleanup energy. Now, the other thing that's affecting the energy right now is Mars. And for us who have the ruling planet as Mars, Aries, and it's also a ruling planet with, it's also one of the ruling planets with Scorpio, is that we feel this impeding energy. Now, this Mars energy that's coming in, if I were to give it a personality, it's a bit of a shit disturber. It's disturbing the peace a little bit. And so what should be peaceful energy, it has some chaos to it. And it is the illusions. And so the last message that I recorded, which was so powerful and so incredible, and I have no idea what the guides are going to give me today, what they're going to channel through. I never know when I come, and I just start the conversation and I pray and hope for the best. And of course, that's why they're not edited, because I cannot edit out and play a la carte to the message that is being channeled through. So, but one thing of the message that did follow me through, that I know that I've been hearing on repeat, is the power of illusions, and how we have, I got to look at what the cover was, and the illusions. And so we have, and how I could see this in a way that they give it to me again this morning was thinking of having our night away in the city. So I went on a night away with my sister-in-laws. We had, oh my God, we went to the most beautiful play. It was so good. I mean, a shout out to the Citadel and in Edmonton, and the ballad of Johnny and June, and all of the actors, the musicians, everything about that play in Edmonton was superb. I mean, superb. It was so well done and so good. And it spoke about my monthly message, which totally just made me chuckle, but it also spoke about everything that I have created in More Than Existing. Everything, my big why in life was to, and what my big struggle in life has always been, about these veils of illusions, and about the lies we tell ourselves, and that we can convince ourselves are true. And there's so many illusions, and to be able to see beyond those illusions, to call it up and out. Why are we not speaking up for that? Why are we not standing up there? And so that was always my little childhood issues. But the play just spoke of the stories. Like there was Johnny's truth, there was June's truth, there was his first wife's truth, there was it was June's first and second husband's truce. Like there's all these narratives and all these stories. And when it all comes together, there's one big truth. And when we can get to the one big truth, and so that one big truth truly is everything that I say in More Than Existing is we came here for the human experience. We came to bring love to earth and to learn the power of love. And that we have such a contaminated perspective and view of love. But when we can come to know pure love, is that we have less of a war with ourselves and less of a war energy that influences us outside, because we don't get caught in the dominance of man, of man's ego, of human's ego. And we discover something deeper. There's always something deeper at play. And there's nothing that is left to chance when we look at the astrological alignment and how we all align. So when I can see energy and can see the patterns, because we live in these patterns, and until we break the patterns and the habits, and until we open our eyes and allows ourselves to be able to see without interpreting that message, there is this contamination in our virtues. So the message was all tied around here. Now the message that's coming through now said to begin with the hotel. So the hotel we stayed at, it's downtown, it's ideal location. In its heyday, this hotel would have been superior, like it would have been above and beyond, but it has aged. It's not the same hotel. But when you walk in, everything appears to be so perfect. And it is like there is so much great about the hotel and the staff. It's not a judgment on the hotel, it's truth. And so checking in, and I wasn't there, but checking in was the realization that we were being placed in an older tower in an older part of the hotel. And the room was not up to par. It did not match the pictures. And it also did not have the quality and standard of what that hotel in that location should have. So there is this illusion, right? And so there's this mask. So the hotel wears its mask and wears its legacy based on the hotel it once was and what it used to be. And so, of course, being moved and them really accommodating was that the hotel then, like when we did get the upgrade and this new hotel room, was the bedpost on the one bed was broken, things were older, but it was the illusion of, but we had the concierge room, we had all of those things. So it's the illusion that is that you're getting the high end, but it's not high end. It's not high end anymore. It's not all that it is sold as, right? And so it leads to this place of disappointment. Now in the light and the next day, and we seen the beautiful restaurant downstairs, and I went in with the gentleman, the manager was like, come in, let me show you around. And the place was stunning. It was beautiful. And you could feel the magic, and I could feel the spirit. I could feel the spirit of the hotel and what that hotel stood for, and the view. And when you look out, you could feel it. But we were high up, and we were in the, overlooking in the hotel. But the spirit is still there. The desire is still there. But all that the hotel staff wants it to be, all that probably the owners want it to be, it just simply can't be anymore. Why? Maybe times, finances, financial, maybe people just don't put the love and care into their jobs the same anymore. Many, many factors play out to the story and to what was. And so we are in a time in December of where we get really trapped in these, where we have so much of this, illusions of what things should be, because we have definitions and we define things a specific way. Like December should be filled with happiness and joy, and Christmas is coming, and I'm going to do, give my whole family everything that they could possibly have. Like I'm going to go buy those gifts, and I'm going to give the kids what they want, and they're going to have the things that they want. And I'm going to be so happy on Christmas morning. But are you really happy? Or is the truth really truly there that we're denying ourselves to see because we're trying to create the illusion? And as long as we're trying to create the illusion, is that it is not really our way to happiness, it's not our way to peace. We are taking the road and the path to self-destruction, to what comes after, which is that's the illusion. It is the imitation presenting itself as truth. It is no different than painting than taking a copy of an original painting and saying, oh, this is the original. No, it's not the original. It is a copy. So we have a lot of imitation energy. We have a lot of that illusion. And so no matter how much we try to create that sense of I have the perfect life, or I don't want to see the world, and I don't, I don't want to know what's happening in the world. I don't want to see the world. So we can walk around and be pretending that the world is something that it is not. Same with our lives. So at Christmas, if you don't have the money, but your kids have a list and they have an expectation, and then you're telling yourself a story. Well, I don't want them to be laughed at. I don't want them to feel like they're not loved. And feeling like they're not loved in a loving home is not even possible. If they don't get what they want, is because they're getting probably what they need, or they're getting what you can afford to give. And when we go above what we can afford to do, or what we know our truth is able to give, then we are creating the illusion, and we're teaching that it is totally acceptable to go beyond to stretch ourselves beyond our means and sit there with a smile on our face. But then behind the scenes, that version of yourself is in stress and worry and already in survival mode, and wondering how you're going to be able to pay for all of this when that one day is over, because we've lost the concept of what these moments in time were really truly meant to be. Why? Because we had imitation light come in and provide us with a lot of conditioning and programming to what kind of person and what kind of experience we should have, including the conditioning of our upbringing and our lives. Whether we're just accustomed to having everything, or we had nothing. And it's like, well, I had nothing, so I want my kids to have this experience. You are never healing your life experiences through providing your kids with the things that you thought you didn't have. Ever. That's not healing your experience. That's masking. That's contributing more to the lack of worth, the lack of value. It is never bringing about a true happiness, because true happiness is not built on illusions. True happiness happens in those sparking moments of, let's go back to when I always talk about the ladybug experience of seeing randomly a ladybug come and land on you, and you're like, oh my God, look at that bug. And there's a level of excitement that's organic, that's natural. And so the experience the child may have on that morning is, oh my God, I got what I wanted, and da da da. And then they'll go, well, is there batteries? Did you remember to get the batteries so that I could love it more? And so there is an instant gratification, but instant gratification does not equate to gratefulness. And so being grateful and versus gratification is a difference. So this month, and what the Mars energy, what this kind of what feels like chaos is, it is a truth bearer. So there is a truth bearing energy that is coming in that just says, like Mercury retrograde, there's no planets going backwards, there's nothing going backwards. That's not true. It's just saying the energy feels slowed down. And so there is a slower pace. It don't mean stop. It don't mean follow your dreams. It don't mean not do things. It just means that, there is always that illusions of time that follow us through. But what do I have the energy for? What do I have the resources for? What do I really want to achieve? Who is this for? Why am I doing this? What is all of this? Where is all this coming from? And so this truth bearing energy can bring about the sense of rage, disappointment, and it feels like you're being criticized. It feels like you may be feeling judged, because it is the aspect of yourself that's coming from the higher authority. It is that authority energy that's just trying to bring about a sense of awakening within, that just says we don't have to be addicted to chasing the patterns of the past and keep chasing the illusion of something that is not real. If we get real and we get honest with ourselves and with society and on a bigger picture, we can see how broken down and worn out these old ways and patterns are. And if we want to really do something, we have to reconstruct and show up, reconsider the things that we do it and how we do it and how we exist. So that's on the macro. Bring that into the micro, bring that into you, bring that into the small. Into the small is really looking at how your thoughts and your old beliefs and your old patterns are influencing how you're showing up, even if it's not serving your highest good, but yet it is a continual, yet it continues to happen. Right. And so one of the illusion, and I was laughing at this as I was getting out of the bath last night, because everything is a story. Of course, I'm a storyteller. Everything has a way of revealing itself. And I just know that when I was dressed and I was dressed up and my nice dress I was wearing was the original price tag on it was like $299. It says it's from a designer, but I bought it at Winners. I bought it at Winners. I paid $40 for it. I hemmed and hawed about spending $40 on it. But when I put it on, I feel like $1 million in it. I feel good in it. It feels good. And then when I'm walking, I can feel myself walking with a version of myself that I know to be true to me. And then I feel great. I feel my shoulders come back. Then I have that imposter syndrome that comes in, the imposter energy, and it goes, well, look at you. Can you not see yourself in the mirror? Can you not see that you got weight on? Can you not see this? Can you not see that? And then I'm like, and then for a split second, you lose that sense of happiness, that sense of really good feeling. And then my oversharing self is like, oh yeah, yeah, this, somebody will say, oh, that's very nice. Like, yes, it's so nice. Yes. And I got it on sale. And it's, almost like trying to play down so that somebody wouldn't think I am somebody I am not. And so there is that energy that is just like it's going everywhere. And so as I'm stepping out of the bathtub, I had this image of what it felt like to set up in the executive floor and go into the concierge, and how good it felt to be back there after the last couple years, and what it felt like to be sitting there but even though that wasn't our plan, that wasn't our room, we weren't buying that, we weren't getting that, we got moved there because of other issues, but nothing of that space was concierge level. The service was the feeling was, but it created a feeling. And so it creates a feeling, and because it creates a feeling, it creates an experience. And in that experience, we have these memories of specific experiences or our desire to feel a certain way. And so we feel it in the experience and we overlook the other flaws, the other things that are going wrong, because the feeling is being created. That sensation, that whole experience had a level of feeling good because it was a similarity. And so it was a reminder. And so those reminders are there. This month, you're going to be feeling the reminders of all of the ups and the downs and the things that felt good and the things that don't feel good. And so the moment we go to purchase something, and the moment you have to justify purchasing that to yourself, there you have to be really aware of which version of myself is coming in to either justify that or absolutely knows that that's not really affordable, or that's not in my budget, or I don't even like that anymore, or why do I feel like I have to explain myself, or whatever that may be. Why do I have to justify that? Or what do I feel like I have to keep recreating a Christmas that I thought I had to recreate, or an experience, or just the month in general? Like, we're using Christmas because it falls into the month of December. And then afterwards, I return back to, it's like the Cinderella story. So it has a real level of the Cinderella story. And it's like, we can be magical without having to lose ourselves, without having to create the illusions. There can be magic in your authenticity. There can be such a magical presence in your authenticity. I don't need a shirt to feel that sense of divine confidence. I don't need a shirt to speak for God. When God tells me to speak, I just speak. I just show up. It just is. It's imperfect, it's messy, it's not aligned, but it just is. There is a level of authenticity that this energy that is coming in, and this influence of this raging energy that is trying to bring us back to a level of authenticity in our truth, and discovering what is the truth. What was it my true intention? What was I truly intending? What was I truly hoping for? And how can I create that? How can I create that without having to sell off parts of myself, without having to mask it, without having to be dishonest to myself, disloyal, without losing myself? How do I be that? How do I be that in my relationships? And so when we ask how, and then we wait for the response from the divine, is that it doesn't come in your time, it comes in divine time. And it often comes through experiences. It comes through allowing your eyes to be open to see the world on a much bigger, broader perspective, that the guides, the angels, God, creator, source, whatever it is for you, is revealing to you through your experiences a conversation. And there is a conversation, and there is signs that is revealing a truth. And it's kind of showing us that, it's not perfect, but yet it still created your experience. You still had it. There's still the beauty. There's still the awe, because what was left in that hotel was spirit. What's left in us when we are so far away from ourselves, when we're separated from ourselves, when we're breaking away from ourselves, what is left to us is spirit. Our spirit is still here. And our spirit is still the thing that just says, it's enough, and it's more than enough. And if this month we can really, truly live by spirit, we will come out on the other side with a whole new sense of gratitude, and not looking for the instant gratification. We will be about long-term satisfaction, feeling full, filling up on full on the memories that spark a joy, that remind us of what really is important, what we value the most, and that it was our authentic, beautiful self that appeared. And at the end of it all, we don't have those regrets. We don't have those shame stories, those guilt. We don't have to chase something. So this month is about beginning the journey of not chasing, but allowing, trusting the divine expression, trusting our spirit to provide for us experiences and beautiful moments that will carry us through. I loved my experience. And even though it had flaws, and even though it wasn't perfect, I'm willing to bet that when those people got off the stage and they celebrated and they sat down, and then their own little judgment came in, they probably had little quirks or little moments of where they may have seen where they had not done something that was right or fell out of tune, but we didn't. Because we went for the experience, and the room was filled with spirit, and it was filled with the one thing that the whole message was about: love. And the pure love is the highest level of consciousness that we have. And that pure love don't mean it's all right. It don't mean it's all going to please us. It don't mean we're going to get what we want. It means that we're going to be given an experience that gives us the opportunity to experience the power of love. And the power of love is more than the dictionary's definition of what love is. The power of love is that which moves us. When we are moved by something, when something moves us and captivates us, and it inspires us, and it gives us some reason to just see beyond envy, jealousy, those things, looking into what somebody else has, that's like a I'm going to say what they're giving me. It's like the evil eye that is giving like the stink eye, and you're telling yourself, well, they got it, and that's not fair. So I'm going to be better than them, or I'm going to prove them, or I'm going to create this. And if my kids should have what everyone else has, it's not fair that my kids don't have. Maybe your kids got more than what other kids have. You just can't see it because the veils of illusions are so high. The mask, what is masking, what is hiding. is there, because we have been conditioned and programmed to live in those, with those veils of illusions, with those masks and those layers and depths of lies that we tell ourselves that sells as truth, that does never reveal a real truth, but we can create a lot of stories around it. And so as we move forward, it's not about being able to create a new chapter in a book. It's about being able to close the book on that past, close the book on old patterns, old habits, and to begin to write a new book, a new story, a new journey that takes you a new direction, because it is a trilogy of life. Life is the movie. And when you watch the movies on TV about Christmas, I guarantee you they were not real and they were not true. And I remember my Christmas story and my Christmas journey. And I remember waking up on Christmas morning with my grandmother and coming down, and there was still no Christmas trees, no Christmas presents underneath the tree, and there was no Santa Claus there. But Nan would always have a stocking, and she would get us to take that stocking back up to the bed. And then we'd hear all this laughter coming into the house, and all this laughter would come in, and it would be our young parents, our young aunts and uncles, and their cousins and their friends. And we were the only kind of two kids at the time. And they would roll in, and then all of a sudden you'd hear bags rustling, and then you'd hear, "Kids, come down, Santa Claus was here." Never did we say, "Well, we were just up." We would run down and we would be so excited, and we would all get caught in that experience, and we would experience that experience. Now, there's a lot of truth in there, that there's a lot of little lies that was happening in there, but the one truth that was real true and that stays in my heart forever and always is the dedication and the love that my grandmother put in to that experience. I mean, was she mad at them young people? Absolutely, but they were young. And it's like, and so, but it was the magic of the experience. It wasn't about the gifts, it wasn't about the presents, it was about all of the people that were there. And they were all there for us. They were there because we brought joy into their lives. We brought some level of excitement into their lives. And behind it all, there was a lot of other things, but there was a higher level of consciousness, a pure consciousness that was at work in that experience. And because of that, we hold that. That sparks a little joy and brings a little smile to my face every time. And when I was healing, there was a lot of healing around the narratives and the hurt stories that would have gone with those experiences. But what I extracted and what I took from there, and the authenticity that came from there, was the 20 people sitting around the table in a small little tiny house having Christmas dinner. It was about all the people that were there opening the gifts with us. It was about how anyone could show up, and there was always enough food. We never ran out of food. It didn't matter. There was enough food. It went around. It lasts. It was the laughter. It was the joy. And this is the things that on a bigger scale, the God is trying to get us to revisit and to relive, so that we can bring back that level of authenticity in our lives, so that we can see our truth, but also to remember what left us not feeling as horrible after, or to have to go through all of this, is because there is spirit. And when there is spirit, when we remember that we are spirit having a human experience, that we are spirit, and that spirit is in everything. And that the spirit is not in that gift or in that Xbox or in that toy. The spirit is in the child. The spirit is in the adult. The spirit is in you. The spirit is there. And because the spirit has a connection to your childhood memories, you have memories. Through all of that is remembering how life made us feel. So we're here this month, and it feels harsh, and it feels like it can be really kind of ripping threads apart from something so that we can get to the truth, because it is a radical self-honesty. And the more that we step into a radical self-honesty, is that we make right decisions for the right reasons. We use the power of discernment. We step into fortitude, which is a higher expression of courage and strength to do the right things for the right reasons, and to get back on a right track, a right pattern, a right way of living, because there is nothing more powerful than when we can get ourselves into a place that everything in our lives feels a little more real to our real truths, so that we don't keep having to feel bad. We don't have to keep feeling like we are betraying ourselves. We're not being propelled forward by shame and guilt. We're not being propelled forward by envy and jealousy. We're not being propelled forward by the thought that we're missing out on something, or that I have to have this relationship, or I have to have this person. I have to have me. And I have to have that part of myself that is speaking to me all this time, but it is not judging me. It goes along for the ride. And that is the aspect of spirit. And so this month, if we can be anything, it is to be a little quieter, a little slower, a little stiller, and to listen to and see all of how spirit is communicating through us, to us, to help us to see what the true light really means. I send you so much love, and I hope you have a beautiful month. And this is the second message that has come through for December. And I guess the first one wasn't meant to have sound, so I could get you to the second message. So thank you so much for listening. Now, we do have coming up in December the 15th, myself and Lisa Richard of Loving Energy Recharge, who's also the other face, the other facilitator, the other creator of everything that happens in the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness, that we are putting off, we're collaborating, we're joining together our works, and we are coexisting on December the 15th in the evening to share the energy forecast for each and every zodiac sign, to give you a little taste and a little bit of what's happening in each of that energy sign. Now, if you know your natal chart, you will know that each and every planet does have an influence in your life. Now, as someone who works with energy and able to channel through, who can see, feel, sense the energy, is I work at it in a storytelling view through archetypal energy, and being able to bring forth maybe something that makes it so that you can not be so judgmental and not so taking the energy personally as we're moving forward. And of course, Lisa's going to be bringing in gene keys, and we're going to be combining in gene keys and human design all in here. We're bringing together our shared wisdom, knowledge, things that we have learned along the way that may just be able to guide you and help you through 2025. Tickets are available to join us for this online event on mteacademy.ca. Everything's in the link below. And we look forward to seeing you there. And we got some more beautiful things that are also going to be happening, and we can't wait to be sharing those with you. You can also pre-order my new Oracle cards, the Want to Know a Secret to a Life of More Than Existing. These are an affirmation deck. They open to thank you for your support. And so these are affirmation cards. And as soon as Canada Post is off, it's over its strike, then we can get those shipped out. Also, we still have, of course, the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, which is this box right here. And same thing, they can't be shipped until Canada Post is out, until their strike is over. I did look at couriers, and the price is astronomical. I'm still looking for options. So if people got a way to use couriers that I don't know, please reach out to me. And then all of the books, More Than Existing, Wine and Chips, and My Truth of Existing Beyond a Reflection, they are all available on Amazon. So you can get those books. But if you go to my website, go to CorrieThorne.Cameron.com, links in the comment description box here on YouTube, is that you will be able to get all the links directly on my website, and it will take you right there so that you can purchase your books. You never know, either you, a friend, may need to hear those stories to know that they are not alone in this journey of healing, self-discovery, and taking that responsibility, ownership and responsibility for who we are today and how we're showing up, and how we can be so disconnected from ourselves. That's what we got. Have a beautiful month of December, and I'll be speaking to you for the weeklies. Much love. Bye-bye.